Namaskar, this is Tabassum Maranjo welcoming you once again to the Samavesh podcast, a grassroots perspective of inclusive philanthropy in India. As the name indicates, the podcast aims at including all beneficiaries across all strata of society, irrespective of the socio-economic status, caste, creed, religion, age, and even the differently abled, to be able to lead a more dignified and gainful life. The purpose of this podcast is to bring out the true essence of efforts and scope required for the upliftment of our fellow countrymen and women by showcasing philanthropic organizations, NGOs, charitable trusts, and projects at ground level in such a way that it brings out tangible impact. Let us all join together to build a more inclusive India. We bring this conversation to you today on location from Atmashakti Vidyalaya, located at Valsad, Gujarat. Atmavishwas Vidyalaya, a halfway home as it is fondly called, is the only one of its kind institution in Gujarat for the mentally ill and perhaps one of the very few across the country. Mental disorders, even to this day, are not recognized as a illness which can be treated and cured, and often associated with witchcraft, black magic, and other superstitious beliefs. Entire families of patients afflicted with mental disorders are ostracized from the communities in which they live, and there is a stigma attached to all mental illnesses. We have with us today Mr. Sanjay Mehta, Trustee of Atmavishwas Vidyalaya. Welcome, Sanjay ji.
Thank you, Tabassum.
A chartered accountant by profession, Mr. Sanjay Mehta has been in successful practice for 50 years and well respected and recognized within his fraternity. His philanthropic inclination has led to his association with Atmashakti Vidyalaya. He represents Mr. Bipin Malia today, who is the founder and managing trustee of Atmavishwas Vidyalaya, and who is 86 years old and unable to join us on the podcast because of his poor physical condition.
Welcome, Tabassum. We really appreciate your initiative in promoting inclusive philanthropy and considering us as a worthy to showcase the work done by Atmavishwas Vidyalaya in the mental health care segment.
So even to this day, mental disorders, as I said, are not recognized as an illness. So let us start by understanding when, why, and how Atmavishwas Vidyalaya was conceptualized.
See, as per the recent WHO report on mental health study, globally the mental health issues are going to overtake the problem which recently we all faced under the COVID regime. There is a study says that more than 1 billion patients world over suffer from mental illness, and out of which 82% people are affected in the low and middle income countries like India, Asia, etc. And so recently the Indian government also has enacted a law, central law of mental health care, wherein they promote the right of individual as a fundamental right for protecting their privacy and giving them care at the institutional level, at the government level.
Let me introduce Mr. Dhananjay Desai, who is advisor to Atmavishwas Vidyalaya. Sir, let us start by telling us how Atmavishwas came to be conceptualized.
Atmavishwas was conceptualized in the mind of the founder, Mr. Bipin Desai, who was inspired by Dr. Father Hank from Bangalore, a Canadian priest, and he was exclusively working with an institution called Atmashakti Vidyalaya in Bangalore. Predominantly, he was treating patients with disorders like bipolar, schizophrenia, who could not go to a psychiatric hospital. And Mr. Bipin Desai had in his own family his daughter Charu, who was afflicted with schizophrenia disorders, and that happened in her, post 30. It was definitely a very not very childhood, but at adulthood time.
Yeah.
And she was also kept at Atmashakti Vidyalaya, and that is where Mr. Bipin Desai had captured the ethos, empathies, and also a special, compassion for children and adults with these disorders who could not go really to the normal psychiatric hospital. Most of the time they get untreated, they remain untreated for years, and that's why their disorder becomes more and more acute with the passage of time. And he really felt that this is the kind of a institution which must be there in South Gujarat. And that is where he sought the help of Father Hank, and he was always ready. In the initial years, he even stayed here and saw that this entire concept of this institution was not only conceptualized, but with all minute details. They planned out, and you can see this institution in bricks and mortar. And the soul of this institution are those unfortunate, afflicted, bipolar or schizophrenia-like disorders.
Thank you so much, sir. It's remarkable that this is the only institution of its kind in Gujarat.
To my knowledge, yes. There are commercial institutions are there. Some psychologists, some psychiatrists rather, have set up probably 100 kilometers from here, but they are all for all kinds of challenges like alcoholic addictions, drug addictions, other mental challenges, bipolar included, and schizophrenia also. But they charge very heavily, and they give medications also, and they treat, but then most of the middle class people, it is unaffordable.
It's not affordable.
Yeah, very unaffordable.
And sir, how do you?
They don't keep for a long time.
So how long do the patients stay here? Some of them are for life also. They stay here.
Not necessarily. Our purpose and our intentions for promoting this cause is that they are welcome here. We provide all the facilities, medicinal and non-medicinal kind of therapies. And we believe that people with adults and children with these disorders will make a pretty good progress with the group therapies. If they live in group with the commonly afflicted disorders, then we have seen that it makes a very remarkable difference in their disorders. And they begin to feel that they go advancing near normalcy. Once that purpose is served, we insist that they should go back to the family and they should go back into the mainstream society so that they can become the good civic citizen of the country.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really informative.
Pleasure was mine. Thank you so much to
Thank you
visit
so much.
this institution.
So, with the guidance and mentorship of Father Hank, we thought of setting up this particular institution at Valsad. Luckily for us, our family joined the effort and they gave us the land, at a very, nominal cost. And with the funding from the family members, this particular institution was inaugurated in 2006 by Father Hank himself. In fact, Father Hank, has supported us at the early stage of, designing the building, what kind of facility we should provide. And initially, even all our caregiver and counselors were trained, at the Atmashakti Vidyalaya. So that's how, we started. And I think initially we set up with a 24 bed, but as and when the funding, we received the funding from the various sources which we could tap as a trustee, then currently we have a capacity of 102 beds.
102 beds. And is the Vidyalaya operational at full capacity?
No, right now I think it's not operating because I think mainly there is not much awareness in India, and we have not even publicized. I think that's mainly because of the social stigma that most of the people, nobody would like in a family if somebody is having this mental disorder to go somewhere and then get the treatment. It remains within the family. And of course, we have not publicized, because of the funding restraints and all. So, but currently we have around 48 inmates. See, most of the inmates, we don't call them inmates, we call them kids because they require the care of a child and, compassion and empathy. So we treat them as our own children. So most of the kids, they really, enjoy, stay here and they recover and go back to the normal life stream, theirs.
So they are like the children of the family.
Yeah, we treat them like a children of family. So Bipin Bhai, is a, father for everybody, and the people really miss him nowadays because he's not able to come here because of illness.
Because of his poor health. And tell us how it works. How do the families of the patients afflicted with mental illness approach you?
See, normally the patients are, the kids are referred to us by the psychiatrist under whom the patient or kid is undergoing treatment. And many times many kids who have gone, recovered from here and their family, they know some people and they refer us. And I think most of the time we get lead from our website,
Inquiries.
Inquiry from the website.
Website.
Yeah.
Do what are the charges? The stay free for all the inmates, or?
No, I think because we operate on a no-profit, no-loss basis. So initially when we started, we had a monthly, fee of rupees 10,000. But currently, because of the increase in cost and all, we are charging rupees 20,000 per month. And that particular, because this fee is charged to cover the cost of lodging, boarding, and the medical facility which we give them, and most of the things we take care of them, because manpower is almost 60% of our costs, because we have a strength of around 24 staff, and we are governed by the Minimum Wages Act of the Gujarat, so we have to give them minimum wages. So that's the major cost.
So how many caregivers do you have, sir?
Currently, we have a team of 6 caregivers and around 9 counselors. The role of the caregiver is to take the personal care of the kids. To make sure that their rooms are and the beds are clean and neat and clean. They come for the various activities, and they participate in all the games and whatever therapies we give them. And besides that, their role is to make sure that they take their medicine timely. And so that's how, and the role of the counselor is to give them various therapies. So we have a group therapy session, we have individual one-on-one therapy for those kids who require more attention because of the behavior issues. And we have a session on EFT, that is emotion freedom tapping. It's a technique which helps them really to negate their negative thoughts and think positively, and still feel better, and have the compassion and empathy with the other colleagues.
And do you have any outings and all for your kids?
Yeah, so we have, I think, a planned set of activities for our kids. So every year, we organize at least 2 picnics outside, then every quarter, we take them for a movie, so they really enjoy. And then every, 2 months, we take them out for either lunch or dinner. and 'cause that's they they would like to go out of this environment. Sometimes they feel like to go outside and enjoy the normal life. And beside that, we celebrate national holidays and all festivals like Navaratri and Independence Day. We have flag hosting. Also, annually we have annual day program wherein most of the kids they perform and showcase their talent. Even their parents attend this annual gathering and they see what is the progress of their kids. Here in terms of recovery, and they all go back happily satisfied.
And do you have any of these kids getting homesick and wanting to go back home?
Yeah, sometimes, some kids, they really want to go back home, but then unless and until they are fully recovered, and unless our, psychiatrist, advises, we don't give them discharge.
So you have an in-house psychiatrist, sir?
Or normally, no, we have a visiting psychiatrist who visits us every fortnight, and he takes, the visit of all the patients, make sure that what is the report the counselor has given for the week 15 days, what's the behavior, any change in that, or is there any improvement, what are the further things required, is there any change in medication required. And then on the same day we also have a OPD session. So normally we get patients from nearby villages and the remote place of this Dharampur, where there are tribal areas, Adivasi area. So from there also many patients come, because they can't afford the lodging and boarding, so they prefer to stay home. But we give them free medicine in OPD, and most of them recover, and they don't come back. But some of them don't recover at all, and then they I think,
Abandon the treatment.
Yeah, they do not pursue the further treatment.
Pursue further treatment. We are now in conversation with Dr. Mahesh Parekh, attending psychiatrist at Atmashakti Vidyalaya, Valsad. Welcome, sir, and tell us how you came to be associated with Atmavishwas Vidyalaya.
Mr. Bipin Malia, who started this institute, had come to visit me and requested me whether I would give my services to this institute that they are going to start. So I agreed with him, and that's how he invited me to come.
Be associated. And how long have you been associated with?
Since inception.
Since inception, okay. And how many patients approximately, sir, you would have treated during this period?
Around 250 to 300.
Okay. And what is the recovery rate of the patients that you have treated up to now?
Most of the patients do recover, but then there are certain refractory cases.
Okay.
Now they may either not improve at all, which is very rare, or they may improve to a certain degree and then they are maintained at that level. There is no further improvement after that.
So then they are asked to go back home and return to their families?
Some of them are in long stay. Some of these refractory cases are in long stay, so they are there.
Okay, so there's no recovery possible for these patients?
And most of them are the long stay patients. But most of the people who have recovered have gone back.
Gone back home. And you say most of them mostly do recover?
Mostly do recover.
And what is the eligibility criteria, sir, for admission at the Vidyalaya? Do you, study the medical history and then decide? Or
Yeah,
how is it
so
done?
I take their detailed history on admission, reach a diagnosis, see the past treatment, and then if I find that the mental illness is there, and they are not going to disturb the other inmates of the institute, then they are admitted.
They are admitted.
Most of them are admitted. Very rarely we turn them back. In fact, I do remember one girl was very boisterous. So I said, she will be a hindrance to other patients. So I gave them some medicine to treat her at home. When she is manageable, we'll admit.
Okay.
But when she became manageable, they said, now we don't want to admit.
So they didn't want to admit because they could manage her. That's right. And it's basically the family is not able to manage. That is the time they approach institutions like Atmavishwas. So that is understandable. And sir, what do you, if the patient is already under treatment, do you consult the existing psychiatrists they have been under treatment for, or?
Initially, when I take my history and I find it is at variance, my diagnosis is at variance with what the other doctor has given, then I may change the medicine. Many a times I continue the same medicine, observe the patient when he is indoors, and then alter the doses or add or subtract medicines as per my observation.
And if the patient's condition becomes worse or they become unmanageable after you have diagnosed and started the treatment, then do you consult their existing psychiatrist or?
We don't have to, because we are able to manage the new condition also, but that is very rare.
It's very rare. Most of the time they do respond to the treatment that is being given to them. Okay, sir. And there is a particular pattern in the, what type of illnesses do you normally?
Most commonly what we get is what is called bipolar mood disorder,
Bipolar mood.
which includes both depression and mania. And the second most common is schizophrenia, and very often obsessive compulsive disorder. These are the commonest illnesses.
And sir, what is the pace of recovery for all these illnesses? It takes a certain duration of time, or
It
depends?
varies from person to person. Depends on the blood-brain barrier. If the barrier is weak, then the medicines are able to take effect earlier. The recovery is faster. If it is tight, then it will take some more time. Also, it will depend upon the intensity of the illness, because we revise the doses once in a fortnight. So once we alter the dose, we wait, because the medicine takes anything between 3 days to 3 weeks to act. So we wait for 2 weeks, we get a fair idea of what is the effect of the new dose, and then take a decision whether to maintain the same dose or to alter it.
And how frequently do you visit the Vidyalaya?
I visit there once in a fortnight.
Once in a fortnight. And for the whole day, entire day, sir?
No, I am there for half a day.
Half a day. And you also get OPD patients apart from
Yes.
the residents at
Yes,
the Vidyalaya?
yes. There are OPD patients that attend the OPD there.
And these OPD patients mostly come from the tribal area of Dharampur?
They may come from various places, including the tribal areas of Dharampur.
And they are given, you give them medication?
Yeah, I prescribe them. They are dispensed from the institute itself.
This is a short-term treatment, right? Or they come regularly for a long periods of time?
They come for follow-up once in a fortnight or once in a month.
Once in a month. And their treatment also continues for longer periods, as and when they
Yes. See, in this illness, many times what we need is maintenance therapy. Maintenance therapy is for the purpose of prevention of new episodes. So it is, once the patient has been treated, usually the treatment continues for 6 months.
6 months.
After which we alter the dose, we can reduce the dose. But if we find a relapse, then it is again restored. And sometimes what happens, if the person develops side effects, then we know that the treatment is over, so we start reducing the dose earlier than 6 months. But many patients, we have to keep them on minimum dose as a prevention for further episodes.
That's for lifetime.
That's what I mean.
Right. And sir, the caregivers at the Vidyalaya, they have to treat the patients with a lot of care, compassion, and at the same time, they have to also administer them the medication that is prescribed very timely.
Yeah.
So, do you have any part in their training, or how is it?
Oh, I take lectures for them
Okay.
to make them aware of the types of mental illnesses that we encounter there, so that they are aware what is this medical condition. And also I give them some training on psychotherapy.
That would be helping them to sort of understand the behavior patterns of the patients.
Not only understand, with psychotherapy they are able to take individual sessions and group sessions for the kids,
Inmates.
and able to help them to recover from their psychological blocks.
It
See,
helps to clear the psychological.
Correct. I mean, see, the role of medicine is to control the disease. The role of psychotherapy is to restore them to their original level of functioning. Even after the patient has recovered from the illness with the help of medication, now there are certain psychological blocks which prevents them from resuming their original lifestyle.
And normal behavior.
Normal behavior. Integration into the society.
Integration back into the society.
Or their level of functioning. So that is attempted by psychotherapy to remove these psychological blocks.
And you train the staff at the Vidyalaya for in
Yes.
this respect. And thank you so much, sir, for a valuable time. And I'm sure your contribution is very remarkable in the Vidyalaya, and they're really guided by your expertise.
Welcome.
Thank you so much. And what is the fee structure that you have here?
So normally, as I told you earlier, that 20,000 is our normal monthly fee. But to some patients, we offer them subsidy, concessional rate, ranging from 6,000 to 12,000 a month, depending upon what strata of income their family has, and whether what's the nature of disorder, whether they can be they can have a quick recovery and go back, So there we give them concession.
Does the fee include medicine cost also?
See, so far as this psychotic medicines are very costly, expensive medicine. Usually we procure directly from the pharma company at a 60% plus discount, and at the same price we charge to our kids inmates, So that because the monthly the bill, the medicine bill is huge, ranging from 2,000 to 5,000, depending upon what is the treatment, is given to them, So that is normally billed to them on a monthly basis,
It's a lifetime medication
It's a
which has to
lifetime
be
medication, and,
administered
yeah.
lifetime, and the medicines are also expensive.
And if you have sufficient funding, then we don't mind even giving the medicine free. And that's what we are looking for. If you can have some sponsors, who can give us donation for, giving free medicine, then definitely would like to give them free medicine, as long as it's possible,
And what about the OPD patients? Are they given
OPD
medicines
patients, we
free?
always give them free medicine because they have anyway, they don't, they can't afford much thing,
And they
we want
can't
to make
afford, and they also are, it's a short term.
And we want to make sure if they can recover and go back to the mainstream life, at least they have the productive life,
What is the average stay of a patient?
So normally in the short stay home, the average stay is ranging from 3 months to 18 months. But depending upon our psychiatrist's advice, if supposing they need some more stay so that they are fully recovered, then it get extended maybe 3 or a couple of months,
Okay, and there are long-term stay patients also.
Yeah, we do have a long-term stay patient. Currently, we have 6 long-term stay patients. So basically, they are quite senior citizen, and they have nobody to look after them at their family, or maybe there are somebody their family is living abroad, and usually depending their mental disorder is such that it cannot be recovered for lifetime.
So how was the charging of fee done
So
for them?
usually what we do, we try and get, if the family can afford, corpus donation of substantial amount, and we try to then keep the minimum charges for them of the lodging and boarding and some medication, so that for the lifetime they can be taken care of.
They can be here, and the medicines they have to pay for like the other.
Yeah, medicine,
inmates.
because lifetime it is expensive.
Lifetime and
Yeah.
expensive. Yes, that I understand. So, what is the ratio of patients recovering and returning to their families?
See, on an average, our experience shows that 1/4 of the patient, 25% of the patient, they recover and go back and do their normal life. They engage in their normal activities. So, I think so far as till date, from I think 2006, in last 18 years, we have admitted almost 272 plus inmates, kids here, and out of which 224 kids have been discharged, and most of them are now normal life. Yeah.
Apart from activities, therapeutic activities and other activities, extracurricular activities, entertainment that you arrange for the kids, do you also organize some entrepreneurial skill development?
Yeah, we do promote. In fact, our founder trustee has thought of setting up an retail store out at the entrance of our institution. So it's a retail store where inmates themselves participate, and they procure the stationery and general store items, grocery items, and they themselves sell it even in their store, in-house, we have a lot of handicraft activities. We make the diyas and greeting cards and, some paintings and all. So they are also sold at our retail store.
And what is the criteria for admitting a patient to Atmavishwas Vidyalaya?
See, usually, that's basically is referred by a psychiatrist. So our psychiatrist normally, examines them. He sees their past medical record, and based on that, they are admitted depending upon what kind of mental disorder. Normally, here we admit those patients who have schizophrenia or bipolar or OCD kind of behavioral symptoms.
And then is there existing or present psychiatrist referred by your psychiatrist to determine the treatment?
I think
procedure?
no. Our psychiatrist initially he sees whatever treatment he has given to the patient. Based on that, he continues for some time, keep under observation, and then depending upon the requirement, he changes his medication. But usually he doesn't refer back to their personal psychiatrist. But in few cases, on a case-to-case basis, we do permit the kids to consult their own psychiatrist and maybe take counseling. So they are used to normally those.
They would be more comfortable with their own
that
psychiatrist
rather than with our in-house counselor.
Does the psychiatrist who's attending here, does he assist in the training?
So normally all our counselors, as I told you, they are trained at Atmashakti Vidyalaya, and from over we have those counselors still continuing in our employment for 19 years, 2 or 3, and they keep on training the next generation who are appointed here.
Yeah, but
And
the psychiatrist for medicines
psychiatrist
and
normally is for medicine all, but he also have some session for counseling, giving them guidance that how they should address the behavior issues, and how if there are violent behavior, how do address that. So those kind of trainings are given to them.
आपका नाम?
हरीश सोलंकी।
आप यहाँ कितने साल से हैं?
15 साल से।
आप यहाँ काउंसलर का काम कर रहे हैं 15 साल से?
यस।
एज काउंसलर आपका क्या क्या जवाबदारी है?
एज ए काउंसलर इन लोगों के साथ रहना, उनको जो प्रॉब्लम है उनका, तो प्रॉब्लम के बारे में बताना कि भाई ये ऐसे नहीं होता है, ऐसे होता है। ये बीमारी में ज़्यादातर क्या होता है कि पेशेंट जो पहले करता था वो ठीक से कर नहीं पाता है, तो वो सब चीज़ें उसको बताना है कि भाई ये चीज़ ऐसे करनी है, ऐसे करनी है।
उसके लिए उसके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है वो भी समझने की, तो आप उनके साथ तो वही काउंसलिंग में वही बात करते हैं कि उनके दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है, उसको क्या ट्रबल कर रहा है, और उसको फिर समझ के आप उसको काउंसल करते हैं। और ये यहाँ पे जो ग्रुप एक्टिविटीज होती है उसमें आप उनका मतलब डिसाइड करते हैं कैसी ग्रुप एक्टिविटीज होनी चाहिए जो उनको मदद करेगी?
रोज की अलग अलग ग्रुप एक्टिविटी रहती है, जैसे मंडे को फीलिंग ग्रुप रहता है, ट्यूसडे को जो कि कॉग्निटिव रहता है, फिर कम्युनिटी रहता है, अलग अलग जीके का ग्रुप रहता है, अलग अलग ग्रुप करवाते हैं जिससे उसका जो अंदर का कुछ है तो वो बाहर आ सके, बाहर आ जाके, और उनकी टैलेंट भी बाहर आ सकती है। उनके लिए जो म्यूजिक डांसिंग वगैरह करते हो वो टैलेंट बाहर आती है, और फिर वो टैलेंट को आगे बढ़ाने में आप उनकी मदद करते हैं ताकि उनका आत्मविश्वास बढ़े।
शोभना में।
अच्छा, आप यहाँ पे केयरगिवर का काम करते हैं?
हाँ।
कितने साल से हैं?
8 साल से।
8 साल से। एज केयरगिवर आपकी क्या क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज है?
यहाँ पेशेंट सुबह चक्कर योगा करने आते हैं कि नहीं, नाइट ड्यूटी में होते तो, और पेशेंट को नहलाने का, और उन लोग दवाई देते हैं इन्हीं की टाइम से, और नाश्ता करते हैं वो सब देखते हैं। उन लोग को कबर्ड में कपड़ा कैसे रखते हैं वो सिखाते हैं, और ये साफ़ सफाई होती नहीं है ये सब करते हैं हम लोग।
आपकी नाइट ड्यूटी रहती है?
हाँ रहती है,
नाइट ड्यूटी रहती है। तो नाइट ड्यूटी में क्या क्या ड्यूटीज़ रहता है आपका?
पेशेंट को पहले आए तो पहले गेम खेलने को ले जाओ, आटा मारते हैं, फिर आ जाते हैं, फिर उन लोग को प्रार्थना कराओ, फिर 7 बजे खाना परोसते हैं, 8 बजे दवाई देते हैं, 8 से 9 बजे तक 1 घंटा हम टीवी देखते हैं।
टीवी देखते हैं?
हाँ, फिर पेशेंट की दवाई निकलने का काम करते हैं।
मैडम आपका नाम?
मेरा नाम लीला पटेल।
लीला पटेल। आप भी यहाँ पे केयरगिवर हैं?
हाँ।
तो आपका डे ड्यूटी होता है, नाइट?
हाँ, डे नाइट दोनों
होता है?
हाँ, दोनों होता है।
आप लोग का रोटेशन में डे और नाइट होता है?
हाँ, होता है।
तो आपकी भी वही जवाबदारी है?
हाँ, वही।
तो दिन के टाइम में आप पेशेंट के साथ कितने पेशेंट्स आपके साथ जुड़े हुए हैं?
मेरे साथ 3 पेशेंट हैं।
3 पेशेंट जुड़े हुए हैं। सभी के साथ में, सभी
हाँ,
कैरीगिवर के साथ में
हाँ, सभी
3
से।
पेशेंट्स
Yes,
होते हैं।
yes.
आपका नाम?
मेरा नाम संजय सोलंकी है।
अच्छा, आप कितने साल से हैं?
3.5-4 साल से है।
यहाँ पे कैरगिवर हैं?
जी जी,
जेंट्स सेक्शन के लिए?
जैन सेक्शन में।
ओके। आपका नाम?
प्रदीप।
आप प्रदीप, नाम बोलिए पूरा।
प्रदीप एन नायका।
अच्छा, आप यहाँ पे कैरगिवर हैं?
हाँ बिल्कुल।
जेंट्स के लिए?
हाँ,
और कितने साल से हैं?
मैं 8 साल से हूँ।
8 साल से हैं। अच्छा, एज कैरगिवर्स आप लोग की क्या जवाबदारी है?
जो पेशेंट जो खुद नहीं करते, एजिस वाले रहते हैं ना, तो वो खुद का नहाना ये सब नहीं कर सकते ना, वो हम करते हैं।
आप करते हैं?
हाँ, उनको टाइम टू टाइम दवाई देते हैं, उनका देखभाल करते हैं, उसकी बातें सुनते हैं, और कुछ उनको अच्छा भी लगे इसके लिए हम लोग भी कुछ राय देते हैं, वो लोग मानते भी है, उनके साथ अच्छे से बिहेव करते हैं, तो वो क्या हमको परिवार जैसा मानते हैं।
हाँ, जो जो उनका परिवार को करना चाहिए वो सब काम आप करते हैं।
हमसे भी वो लोग बहुत घुल मिल गए हैं, अच्छा लगता है हमको भी।
और आपके हर एक के पास कितने पेशेंट्स असाइन?
हमारे पास 3 है, एक भाई के पास भी 3 है।
3 हैं।
हाँ
तो तीनों का जवाबदारी आपका है।
हाँ।
पर उसके अलावा भी अगर कोई
हाँ,
दूसरा पेशेंट आप
तो कर लेते हैं।
आप कर लेते
जी, हमारे सामने कुछ होता है तो हम अवॉइड नहीं करते हैं, चाहे किसी का भी पेशेंट हो। हम लोग ऐसा मिल बांट के, सब मेल स्टाफ और फीमेल स्टाफ सब एक जैसे ही है। कुछ भी किसी को भी हो जाए तो ऐसा नहीं है कि किसी से हाथ छुड़वा ले के, ऐसा नहीं है। सबको एक दूसरे को मदद करते हैं, क्योंकि यहाँ छोटा स्टाफ है और पेशेंट भी ज़्यादा है, तो एक दूसरे को हेल्पफुल रहते हैं और परिवार जैसे ही रहते हैं हम
और
लोग।
पेशेंट को भी हेल्प की जरूरत इमीडिएट होती है, मतलब उसको डिले नहीं कर सकते।
हाँ जी जी, नए पेशेंट आते तो उनको क्या अच्छा नहीं लगता है यहाँ पर, लेकिन धीरे धीरे ऐसे सेट हो जाते हैं ना, तो घर जाने की इच्छा भी नहीं होती
इच्छा
उनकी।
होती है, ओके।
हाँ, इतना प्यार मोहब्बत से रहता है, बहुत बहुत बढ़िया रहता
नाइट
है।
ड्यूटी, डे ड्यूटी दोनों?
जी जी जी, सब कुछ
रोटेशन में?
जी, रोटेशन में आती है।
आपका नाम क्या है?
मेरा नाम सोनाली सावंत है।
आप यहाँ पे काउंसलर है?
हाँ, यहाँ पे मैं काउंसलर हूँ।
तो आप कितने साल से हैं यहाँ पे?
मैं 19 साल से।
19 साल से। और आपकी ड्यूटीज़ क्या क्या है एज काउंसलर?
काउंसलर मैं यहाँ पे पेशेंट का साथ बातचीत करती हूँ, उनके मन में क्या है वो निकालने की कोशिश करते हैं। फिर अकेले में इंडिविजुअल काउंसलिंग भी करते हैं उन लोगों के साथ, जो पहले उसके पेशेंट के साथ बैठ के उनकी पूरी हिस्ट्री जानते हैं। फिर वो हिस्ट्री जान के वहाँ पे उनको क्या प्रॉब्लम होती है, किस प्रॉब्लम से उनका ये बीमारी की शुरुआत हुई है, वो जान के वो उसके अंदर जो मन में गलत फहमी है उसको दूर करने की कोशिश करते हैं।
और ऐसे कोई पेशेंट के बारे में आप बताना चाहते हैं जिसके आपके साथ में कुछ खास एक्सपीरियंस हुआ हो?
इससे मेरा एक पेशेंट था जिसकी मैं मेंटर थी, वो अमेरिका की थी, निमिषा भक्ता करके। तो इसे वो जब आई थी तब बहुत उसका प्रॉब्लम था, कहीं पे भी रुक जाती थी, स्टक हो जाती थी, कुछ अवेयरनेस नहीं था उसके अंदर। फिर वो धीरे धीरे उसके अंदर भी इम्प्रूवमेंट आया और वो बहुत ही अच्छा म्यूज़िक, डांस करती थी, गाना भी बहुत अच्छा गाती थी।
As you said, you have not received any corporate funding up to now.
Yeah, so far we have not received any corporate funding.
So, if you receive corporate funding, what would be the additional services that you would be able to offer?
I think first and foremost we can, subsidize the medicine. We can give the medicine free, or we can have some more, facility equipments which would, enhance the recoverability, or we can give more comfort to the kids, And we can have, we can engage some outside specialist counselor for different kind of therapies. That will be, helpful to the inmates here. Maybe we can have some trained our work, clinicians who can go outside to nearby schools and, educate the children, for the types of mental disorder. Some teachers can be trained so that at the early stage they can identify this mental disorder, and then they can be treated early so that their studies and all that don't suffer,
Would it also help to give free treatment to the really needy patients?
Yeah, definitely. We can, sponsor, some of these, corporate donors, they can sponsor, inmates for a free treatment for the life cycle, or for the, their treatment with us,
Are your accounts independently audited?
Yeah, we have an independent chartered account firm which is locally based, and they have, many NGOs operating in South Gujarat as their clientele. So we get a real good independent service from them.
And you would be able to provide the necessary documents for compliance.
Yeah, definitely. See, we have an updated accounting reporting system. I'm being trustee, being a chartered accountant. I get a monthly report. We try to work out what is the monthly cost. We have MIS data. So we try and see whether we can subsidize more people based on our cost savings. And we'll also be able to give these impact analysis report to these corporate donors who are bound by required by CSR regulation.
So you would be able to provide fund utilization certificate as well as
definitely that's our duty to give them
impact assessment report.
Impact assessment report as well as the utilization certificate. Normally they have deadlines that every 31st March they should have the report in place, because that's placed before the CSR committee of their board of directors.
Yes, the Company Act has become very strict regarding compliances.
So definitely we try to see that the law is implemented in the correct spirit.
Okay. And what type of visibility would you be able to offer to your donors?
I think,
donors?
see, we have one of the easiest ways to display the name of the donors, as a continuing strip on our website. Maybe in our halfway home, at certain places we can, display the name of the donors, and then maybe even certain programs, we can, dedicate in the name of the corporate donors,
Basically, mental disorders, families are not willing to disclose, and since there's a stigma attached to it, and people don't want to come forward for fear of being forsaken by the communities in which they live. We really salute the foresight and vision of Mr. Bipin Malia, who saw compassion and care for the mentally ill as way back as 2002, and establish this Vidyalaya, or halfway home as we call it, for the mentally ill. It is a real commendable challenge which he has undertaken, and which is being managed, as far as I can see, very well. And we really salute his vision and foresight, and you and your team of counselors and caregivers are giving an excellent job in taking care of your kids. And I wish you all success.
Thank you.
And God bless the entire team for their compassion and kindness.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for being on the podcast with us.
Thank you.
For all our viewers who are with us till now, a very big thank you. And for our audience who want to support Atmashakti Vidyalaya in their endeavor to give a dignified life to the mentally ill, the details are in the description of the video. Please do support. For the philanthropic organizations who wish to be showcased on the Samavesh podcast, do contact us. The details are in the description of the video. See you again soon, next time. Till then, take care and God bless you all.